Keiko's Diary.
Welcome to the Keiko's Diary podcast, where I get up close and personal with creatives to uncover the people behind the art. Without further ado, let's bring in today's guest, the bread maker herself, Kara Greenberg.
Hi!
Hi, how are you doing, Kara?
I'm great, Keiko. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh my goodness, I've been looking forward to this one. You've just been in so many special shows with especially Clannad. It happens to be my favorite anime of all time, just saying.
I love it.
Oh my goodness, you're one of the most multi-talented actors I've ever seen. I mean, you know how to rock it on the stage, on screen, behind the microphone.
Thank you so much. That's so sweet.
Before we play our first game, I have to ask you about a commercial you did for Sears. Oh my goodness, go check it out, people. It's actually on your website. But you were inside this elaborate construction of an outfit that completely enclosed your body head to toe. So that I'm a claustrophobic person, so I don't know how you did that.
I can tell you all about it. Well, first of all, I mean, I have to give props to the people that built that. It was a commercial that I did for Sears, and it was with this company called Sugar Films, based out of Dallas. And the brilliant director, Chris Smith, who I'd worked with a few times prior to that, cast me in this, and I did not know what I was getting into. And I showed up, and they showed me this contraption that I was to get inside of, and I was like, what? And it was gorgeous, and they built it, and I could see out. I had someone leading me around because I couldn't see out of the periphery, but I could see out. There was like a mesh situation in the bodice of the dress that I could see out of. It wasn't claustrophobic, and I was just being led around, and they were I just saw people like taking pictures of me constantly because the costume is incredible. And we did all of the action first, and they were telling me, what how I was supposed to react, but it was all with my body. And then at the very end of the day, they had me come and just record the audio. And I did it in a variety of different ways. And they went with like an old kind of gramophone style. But I did it in all these different accents. And I mean, I did it like 15 different ways, and that's the way they picked. And it's pretty funny. And fun fact, I had food poisoning.
No way.
I had come into Dallas the night before, like a good actor does. And I went by myself and got something to eat at this great place in this great area. And I was, just living my best life, and woke up in the night. And so I had not slept. I was a total disaster, and I didn't want to say anything because I felt terrible. So I was just acting like everything was just fine.
That is hysterical. What a trooper. That makes the commercial even more impressive. Why don't we kick things off with my favorite segment of the show, which is the 60-second 411. Favorite color?
Green.
Favorite movie?
The Apartment.
Favorite song?
Blackbird.
Favorite game?
Masterpiece.
Greatest fear?
Ignorant, stupid people.
Hot or cold weather?
Cold.
Night owl or morning bird?
Night owl.
Favorite singer?
Simon Le Bon.
Ooh, favorite food?
Sushi.
Favorite holiday?
Hanukkah, Christmas.
Biggest pet peeve?
People being late or people acting stupid.
I feel ya. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
If you had a superpower, what would it be?
To eradicate all bias, bigotry, and anti-Semitism.
Favorite Spice Girl?
Ginger.
Favorite subject in school?
Theater history.
You did it, Kara. And you have the best time of the season.
Do I really? What was my time?
46 seconds.
Yes. Yeah, I broke out into a sweat. You said me too for my pet peeve, people playing stupid or being late.
Yes, the being late.
If I got there on time, you could have gotten there on time.
You had food poisoning and you were there. So.
There you go. There you go.
The spotlight.
I just wanted to take a minute to talk a little bit more about your amazing career. I mean, you're just doing so many wonderful things, including, like I mentioned before, my favorite anime ever, which is Clannad and its second season, Clannad After Story. It was produced by the famous Kyoto Animation. These are the people behind the movie A Silent Voice and shows like Violet Evergarden, Free, and of course, Haruhi Suzumiya. Clannad in particular, it happens to be one of the most acclaimed series of all time. And again, it's my favorite. It really influenced my writing style in a way that can still be seen all these years later. I've been writing and directing animations and original projects for over 13 years, and I credit my style very much largely to watching Clannad.
Oh.
Yeah, it had a huge impact on me, as it does for most people who watch it. You voiced the irresistibly lovable mother, Sanae Furukawa. So could you talk a little bit about how you first got the role and just what your overall experience was like working on this legendary anime?
Sure. I got the role like I've got most of them, which is by auditioning. And that was I think that was one of the first ones I did. And so I had to go in and audition, go into the studio and audition, and you just read samples of the lines in the way that the character is written. And I love her. She's sweet, cries so easily when someone insults her bread, which is so fun. Like, that's the most fun, is when she just breaks down and just has these crying fits. It's so much fun.
It's hysterical. There's compilations on YouTube where people just put together all the moments where you break down crying over your bread.
No! For real? What? Oh, I would love that. It's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, that is so funny. She loves that people think she's Nagisa's sister and not her mother, and she just, like, everything about her. She's multi-layered, which is really fun to play, especially having a theater background. Because when you go in to do anime, a lot of times you're just servicing the Japanese everything, the Japanese intonation, the Japanese characterization, and everything. And so when you don't have a lot of choice in how you do things sometimes, but she was just so much fun to play. Yeah.
A lot of voice actors have a background in theater, and it really comes in handy and translates well in voiceover.
That's one of the things I love about doing anime, is that you get to change it up all the time. And so, you know, it keeps it fresh. I never know every time I start a new show or in a movie, like, oh, what's this going to be? Sometimes when you finish your role, they just need one-liners for, like, you know, a random girl walking down the hall or whatever, and you just get to say things in whatever way you want, and that is super fun too.
You go in for so many different projects, and then you come in for a show like this one, like Clannad, and you can recognize that this is something special. I bet that was really cool for you to experience.
It was quite an honor to do it, and I had an awesome time. Yeah.
And the thing with shows like this is they're timeless.
And when we first started doing this, I mean, all of us, you know, after your show came out, the next time you came into the studio, they would hand you DVDs of your shows. High Dive and Crunchyroll and all the streaming services, and we're not around.
I've actually got the DVD box set right in front of me as we're doing this.
Yes. Awesome.
You've lent your voice to countless other anime, like Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? You voiced Kai Midorikawa in Takunomi, Shizuko in Maid-sama, Claire Forrest in Red Garden, and oh my goodness, so many more. You also voiced Miyoko in Food Wars. What a contrast to Sanae, I'm just saying. So how did you consistently deliver as this no-nonsense, intimidating character in Food Wars?
I've been lucky where my stuff has really been different every time. I've really never used just my real voice. And so, I mean, it's obviously me with twists, but Food Wars is just insane. Iron Chef meets Love Island. I mean, it's madness. But I love her. I love Miyoko. She's tough. She's so tough. Still doing it, so it's great.
Yeah, I bet that's exciting. It's always fun when you get to play a character over a long span of time.
It's really fun to get to revisit it all the time. You just have to keep them all straight. You have to be like, wait, okay, who am I?
Yeah, who am I today?
So here's an inside scoop. When you go in to record, the director always says, you know, let me play her back for you real quick, because maybe you did other shows in between and you don't want to mix them up. But yeah, and Food Wars is being directed by the amazing Kyle Jones, and
wow.
I really love working on it. It's like a family. Like, it's the same sound engineers and directors, and it's great. It really is. Like, every time I have to go to quote unquote work, I'm like, this is the best day. Like, this is just so awesome.
Outside of your voiceover work, you're also an on-camera actress, and you've done commercials for brands like Sears, like we were speaking about earlier, Academy Sports and Outdoors, and several others. So I'm just kind of curious, as an actor, do you prefer voice work or camera work?
My first commercial was for Coca-Cola, and I was in college, and I've done everything from national to local commercials to regional commercials, and I only knew on camera. And then when I was doing a play, actually, there were all these people who did anime, and they kept saying, you should do this, you should do this. And I was like, I would love to do this. How do I get in? How do I do this? And so I, contacted them and met with them, and the rest is history. But I think, camera's stressful sometimes because it seems like they care more. Like, you just can't do your work. They're worried about so many other things going into it. I mean, especially with HD, it's like, if there's a hair out of place. I've been on shoots where they like stop and they're like, there's a hum, and it's like in the other room, a vending machine plugged in. I just feel like voiceover work is much more relaxed. You have a lot more time to play. You can do things in a variety of ways.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm so glad that sort of just fell into your path. But you're also a very acclaimed stage actress. Like, oh my goodness, look at these receipts. The Los Angeles Times called you a scene stealer. LA Weekly said you enveloped the room with a buzz of electricity.
My first play, I think, it was a musical in 8th grade, and I didn't know I could do it at all. And it was great. And then when I got into high school, I remember auditioning for the musical. I went to a giant, big public high school, and I went to audition as a freshman for the musical, and I got cast as lead. And I was like, what is happening? Like, I'm pretty sure I sang Happy Birthday for my song because I didn't know when you had to come with a song, I was like, okay. So I didn't even understand what that meant. And that was it. Like, I was in every single show and musical when I was at my high school. I thought, well, you can major in theater and then do anything you want. So I was going to be a lawyer. And that was just what was going to happen. So I was a theater major in college. And then, true story, my lovely father said, I don't think you should be a lawyer. I think you should do this. And I was like, what are you talking about?
That's amazing.
I was like, no, because I would like to be able to eat out at a restaurant with friends and make, money. And he said, no, I just really think you should do this. And that was enough for me. So I was of all my friend group in college, everyone had like amazing jobs upon graduating, big money jobs with insurance and benefits. And I was like, all right, then I'll see. I'm going to bring my own food when I meet y'all. And I just, that was it. And I never looked back. And the stage is definitely my first love. And yes, I'm in rehearsal right now for a new show. It's called The Best of Everything, and it is at Main Street Theater in Houston, Texas. And it is an incredible show that is actually based on a book that was written in the 1950s. It's kind of like Mad Men meets Sex and the City, but it's all women. And it's unfortunately very relevant still in regards to how women are treated in the workplace. It sounds like a downer, but it's actually a really, really good show. I play the boss, and it's really exciting.
Have you ever
gone skydiving? No, me neither. Yeah, I enjoy being alive. Have you ever touched a snake?
Like, nature center type situations where they're, someone's wearing it around their neck and they're like, here, come pet it. And I haven't, that's enough for me. Like, I don't like, it's yuck.
Have you ever broken your phone?
Hasn't everyone?
Have you ever been betrayed? This is a deep one.
Yeah, I'm over it, but yeah.
Have you ever cried in public?
I mean, I feel like I've, not lots of times, but yeah, I mean, like in a movie or a play, that's public.
That's true. Yeah, that counts.
Oh, yeah. So 100%. Sniveling mess, for sure.
Have you ever broken any bones?
Oh, yeah. No. Where's some wood? I need to knock on it.
Yes,
no.
Me too. I'm knocking with you. Have you ever exploded with rage?
Oh, yes. And I mean, if I have exploded with rage, it's obviously warranted.
Have you ever been cheated on?
No.
Oh, that's wonderful. Good for you. Have you ever seen a ghost?
I don't think so. I totally believe in ghosts.
Really? Interesting.
Well, because I don't know that I've seen them, but I've heard them. I mean, I've been places where stuff happens, something falls down, flies off the wall, and you're like, that's interesting.
Have you ever seen a UFO?
No. Have you?
I saw one thing when I was younger. I was like out in the yard at night and I was looking up at the stars. It's almost like an airplane just kind of moving in a straight line, but then it just stopped. Like it was moving right along and then it just came to a halt and it just stayed there. And for the rest of the night, I assume, because it never continued moving. So I have no clue what the heck that was, but I think it's a UFO. Have you ever run away?
Oh, yeah.
Last week?
You're like, really? Like every week? The first time I was little. And I mean, I was probably in elementary school. And, I got in some fight with my parent and I went and ran away crying. But I went and hid in my mom's closet and she didn't know. And I fell asleep. And so I woke up. I will never forget this. I woke up. People were like, in my home crying and like they had sent out search parties because they didn't know where I was.
Oh my gosh.
If you ever can't find your children, people, just look in the closet.
It's kind of funny. I remember I broke something when I was little and I ran and hid in the closet too. Have you ever done something crazy?
We'll be here all day. All the day. So many illegal things.
Have you ever tried something and regretted it?
Oh my gosh, some foods.
Octopus or something?
That's actually okay.
No way.
I don't eat meat or chicken, but I eat fish and it's actually okay. Like, if it's not cooked properly, it tastes like a bath mat. But, if it's cooked, I should say if it's cooked, it's actually good. Girl, it's me and cilantro. No, thank you.
Have you ever pulled an all-nighter?
So many times. And in fact, there are a lot of shoots especially for commercials, but commercials, when you're shooting on location in a store, for example, they shoot overnight so that they don't have to shut down the store during business hours. And I used to do it all the time, but it takes me so long to recover because life starts again as usual. And so, or if I'm in a show like that's at night or rehearsing at night, I can't just never sleep. So I say no to overnight shoots now.
Well, that's good. That's good that you kind of have a limit that you set for yourself now. Have you ever been terrified?
Every time I'm about to walk out on stage or every time I'm about to do something with work, I mean, you just hope you do it right. And you service the playwright right, or the writer right, or the message comes out right, and that the people get out of it what you're hoping they will get out of it.
Fan mail.
We have our first question from Arturelia. They're wondering, what was the toughest voice acting scene to do?
Action sequences.
Action. Okay.
Oh yeah. Because you're almost doing it in the booth. Like when you're running and, you have to really run because otherwise you're breathing so hard, you get like lightheaded. So, trying to convey action sequences with your voice is very difficult. And falling and stabbing and rolling, those are impossible. And when you have to scream over and over again, it's very difficult.
Yeah, I think a lot of people who don't do voiceover are surprised at what a physical job it can be, actually.
Mm-hmm. You're like an athlete when you're an actor, and you have to take care of yourself, especially your voice. So you have to hydrate, you have to, not eat certain things that, everybody knows what their problem food is. For some people it's dairy, some people it's spicy food, some people it's alcohol. You just take your voice out of its optimal place. The action stuff is really tough.
Wings Club 1313 asked, what's your most favorite character you've done?
Yeah, I love Red Garden, and I liked Kiba. Red Garden was amazing. When I played Claire in Red Garden, it was amazing. I think that was my first one where I got to be like in the deeper register of the voice instead of the high pitch sometimes. And it's just such a great series. And Sanae, for real. Because she's just so much fun.
Bridget O'Hara, they want to know, My question for Kara is about dubbing. As a trained actor, what's the best way to get your foot in the door? Also, do you get nervous in the studio? Thank you.
The best way to get your foot in the door is, if you look up the dubbing studios, and sometimes they will have a form that you can fill out online on their site where you can upload a demo, and you can do a demo so easily. You can do it on your phone, and you just have to read copy. I mean, you could get copy of your favorite anime and just say some lines, and you can submit it. And when they have a new show coming up that they're dubbing, they might call you to come in and audition or submit an audition. I mean, a lot of times now you don't have to go in. You can submit it. Everything is much different now. If I'm doing a new show and I don't know what's happening yet with the character, I'm a little nervous. But once I've done it for a while, that character, I don't get nervous anymore. I am excited.
Evelyn wants to know, could you say something as Sanae, please? I want to try her bread even though it's supposedly inedible. Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, don't you want to try some of my bread? It's so delicious. Everybody says so.
Why don't you like my bread? It's so delicious.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for making my day, Kara. Me and Evelyn, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Evelyn.
I love the breakdown.
When you do it, you have the director and sometimes the engineer too on the other side of the glass just totally laughing.
The Deep Dive.
If a genie could grant you 3 wishes, Kara, what would they be?
Cure for cancer. Everybody has health care, free health care, and no more dumb quality over quantity.
That's hilarious. Are you afraid of death?
For sure. I guess you're not when you're like super old. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, okay, I feel you. What is your earliest memory of life?
I remember my room when I was, very little. And I know this because one time I saw I don't think it was a wallpaper, but maybe it was, or just some sort of fabric that I saw as an adult and was like, oh my God, I think that was in my room when I was literally under 2 years old.
Whoa, you must be you have a very special, intelligent brain to have logged away something like that.
Oh, we're going to take that. I'm going to take that.
Yeah.
Take that.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Keiko. I'm going to take that. I have a very intelligent brain.
At MLA Entertainment, we always say, keep being creative. And I just really believe in nurturing people's creativity. And speaking of, we have listeners who are working on their own craft. It doesn't even have to be in the entertainment business. I wanted to ask, what does being creative mean to you? And how has it impacted your life and career? Do you have advice for others?
It means everything. I know how lucky I am to be able to have my job be something in the creative field, but I always thought I could not make a living doing what I do. I always thought that.
Right.
And always had multiple jobs, right? My job, I could make a great sitcom about the jobs, but always had a lot of jobs. And then I know this is hard to do, but when I quit my big moneymaker job, my day job that gave me amazing, benefits and everything, because I got cast in a huge show at a huge theater that required me to rehearse during the day, I quit. And then that was it. As soon as I devoted all of my brain space to what I wanted to do creatively, while I still had multiple jobs in all facets of the creative world, I just stopped. I will not work for free. Never have worked for free. Of course, in college, but after that, don't work for free. You are worth it. You always deserve some sort of payment, and just keep going. You have to do what you have to do to make money, to support your creativity. But I find that if you really, really dedicate a good amount of time to it, that things will happen for you. There's a lot of times where you're not working a lot. You just, during that time, you have to keep working on yourself. You can always be working on your website, working on your demos, working on reading scripts, working on writing. You can work on something always.
Always. To tell the viewers about any upcoming projects you're working on or just anything you'd like to share with them before we sign off today.
Theater-wise, I told you about Best of Everything, which will be playing at Main Street Theater in Houston, Texas, May 18th through June 18th. Come on, see it. After that, my next theater project is going to be this amazing holiday show called A Texas Carol. It sounds like it's a Christmas Carol in Texas, but it's totally not. But it's at a very, very big theater here in Houston, and I did it this past holiday season, and it was they've been around for 40-something years. It was their best-selling show, non-musical show to date, and they are bringing it back this holiday season. And when I tell you, it is the feel-good show of feel-good shows. You laugh, you cry. It was just so amazing and such a great experience, and I'm excited to do that again. And then my new anime that I'm working on is called Farming Life in Another World. It's super, super sweet.
Aww.
It's probably the sweetest anime I've ever done, and I'm about to start that. It's new, it's just starting, and so I'm very excited for that. I'm Kara Greenberg, and for MLA Entertainment, keep being creative.
Hey, you. You can help support the Keiko's Diary podcast by liking, subscribing, and sharing it with your friends. Sounds like you're pretty powerful. Thank you for listening, and keep being creative.